As a married woman, sometimes you endure some things that are best left unsaid for the sanity of your marriage. But when your cup gets full, the story needs to be told. My story goes something like this. I call him Paps. We've been married for 7 years. Paps is 5 feet 8 inches in height, with a smile that pulls you in like magnet and lips that'll make you stare at them for days. He always smells so good and anything he wears fits him well. He will walk in a room with the most confidence and everyone will be like, now we can begin. His confidence is like it is on steroids. It is always a vibe with him in public spaces, especially when he engages in meaningful conversations. He knows a little bit about a whole lot of things, whether it's politics, religion, history, entertainment or otherwise. His reasoning skill is top tier. He reads a lot of non-fictional books and always encourages others to read, as he is a strong believer that reading expands your intelligence. Paps is not a lazy person and he does not believe in handouts. He always preaches, every man should work for their bone. Road trips was our thing, whether it's a drive out, a weekend getaway or vacationing in another country. We shared some beautiful memories exploring, eating and enjoying other cultures. Paps and I have the best chill time at home talking about things that matters to us. We would sip on some wine or rum with a spliff and iron out any miscommunications between us and laugh about the silly ones. This was like therapy for us. We felt like there wasn't any hurdle that we wouldn't be able to cross together. We do everything together, and we thoroughly enjoyed every moment spent together. We were each other's best friend. Paps is the kind of man who opens doors for women and carry the heavy load, a total gentleman. We build our home together and are working on creating the life we envisioned. We were a power couple in many persons' eyes and life was good. Sounds like a reasonable life, right? Well, on the other hand, Paps is someone who speaks his mind, doesn't matter who you are. In our marriage he comes off as a know-it-all at times and there is not much you can do to win an argument with him, even if you are right. He is someone who does whatever he wants, whenever he wants and there's not much debating on that. I often questioned myself if I'm strong enough to manage his personality, but we were so close-knitted when it comes to a whole lot of things. We clicked. Over time I learned to be silent when there seems to be no solution to an argument and let him vent it out. Sometimes it would reciprocate and I vented out, and then there are times when we held out and it only ends in bitterness. Paps is quick to apologize, which quenches the after effect of an argument. We both are working on our weaknesses to create peace in our marriage. This method seems to work, and we seem happy, until in 2020, when COVID was fresh, I got pregnant for the first time with our baby girl. Seems like a dream as Paps always wanted a baby girl. Paps has 2 boys from his first marriage, 17 and 14, having a girl would be the icing on the cake for him. The first 2 trimesters were the toughest, I couldn't keep anything down and at one point I ended up getting drips as my fluid level was low. My emotions and hormones were all over the place. I was feeling the worst I've ever felt. All parts of me aches. At times Paps makes me nauseous, I couldn't stand the sight of his dick. It was not until the 2nd trimester that I found Paps appealing again, and even then I still struggle with it. Paps didn't believe I was feeling pain and discomfort. He would often say, I'm making the pregnancy more than it is, as he sees other women enjoying their pregnancies. We would get into quarrels about how I'm feeling and I would try to convince him that all women pregnancy journey is different, but he would still hang on to, I was making it more than it is. I cried almost every day as I pictured the journey to be different. Paps didn't miss any doctor's appointment, and even though it was COVID they allow him access inside with me. We made the decision that we would have our baby in another country so as to create a better life for her. I flew out alone at 32 weeks, with plans on the way for Paps to come closer to the delivery date, so he can be there for the birth. I had to quarantine for 2 weeks before my first doctor's appointment. At the appointment my pressure was recorded high and the baby's heartbeat could not be found. I was referred urgently for an ultrasound at the hospital. At the hospital, whilst doing the ultrasound, the doctor left the room and called another doctor. They seemed to be analyzing the results with no happy expressions on their faces. In a haste, a doctor told me to get dressed and head up to the maternity ward. I immediately felt a high level of panic over me. With shaky hands, I instantly messaged Paps to give him the update. He was sitting an exam at work when he got the news. Pap's recollection of this was that he started to cry over the exam paper when he got my message. My mother was allowed in the room with me. We eagerly await the results with hopes in our hearts, but at the same time feeling like the worst is here. A doctor then entered the room telling me to have a seat, as I was nervously walking around. Then she broke the news. I lost our child at 34 weeks. This was 2 days before my birthday. 2 days before Christmas. I stared into space for a moment. The doctor told me it's okay to cry. I said to her, I'm okay. My first experience of pushing out a baby was truly a heart-wrenching one. I held our lifeless baby girl looking at her, and a wave of emotion started flowing in and through me. I began to cry. The pain was nothing I've ever felt before. It's the kind of pain that digs deep into your heart and soul. At the time of the stillbirth, Paps was at home trying to occupy himself with house chores to take his mind off reality. He was overly distressed, as he didn't even have the chance of holding his lifeless baby girl, or to be there for her memorial service. The days passed, our baby girl was cremated and ashes released. I head back home to Paps. Seeing Paps after 2 months filled my heart with joy and sadness at the same time. Joy because I have missed him so much and longing for his embrace, just to get that soothing feeling that everything will be all right. But on the other hand, I am home without our baby girl, and the pain of that reality is like no other. Paps was trying to be strong for both of us, but deep in his eyes, the pain was so evident that even his smile looks like sadness. I fell into a deep depression.